The objective of the 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗩𝗪 Award is actually to promote educational entrepreneurship, to define and establish an operating quality benchmark while securing a consistent
but fair grading system
for the private education sector within Malaysia.
To connect entrepreneurs with reliable,
promote a collaborative environment between various global education institutions.
Malaysian education with the aim to bring Malaysian
educations to the forefront of the world.
At the same time, PM would like to organize corporate visit programs
for knowledge exchange and networking
for the benefit of all its members.
Despite living through a pandemic
that has not been seen in generations,
the 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗩𝗪 Awards
shines brightly for all
entrepreneurs to aspire to.
Why?
We all need something worth fighting for.
The 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗪𝗪 Awards is that prize.
We have seen a boost in the confidence of our stakeholders after Edupreneurs has received the 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗪𝗪 Awards in 2019.
After receiving the 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗪𝗪 Awards in 2019, UCMAS has enjoyed enhanced awareness and elevated brand name.
After receiving the 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗪𝗪 Awards in 2019, we can communicate and approach the community as well as our targeted customer in a more confident manner.
This award is the coveted education award as this is the most credible private education award in Malaysia.
It has created significant values for my institution.
It has been a year of trials and tribulations, pushing entire populations to adapt to a new world. Join the 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗪𝗪 Awards 2021 now in recognition of the honor you deserve.
Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome everyone, all the edupreneurs in Malaysia, also stakeholders in the education industry in Malaysia, or whether you are parents or teachers. All right, welcome to this Edupreneurs talk series. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗪. All right, I'm a committee member for this Private Education Entrepreneurs Association of Malaysia, the award committee, all right, for 2021. All right, in conjunction of the Private Education Entrepreneurs Association of Malaysia inaugural award for year 2021, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time, all right? So we warmly welcome all the edupreneurs in Malaysia, the stakeholders of education industry of Malaysia, all the teachers, parents, all right, to this forum one of the Edupreneurs talk series entitled Innovative Approach to Elevate Your Educational Institution Excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗪, the abbreviation, all right, we are delighted to have on board tonight our two highly esteemed judges as our panelists tonight. The first panelist is Puan Aisha Zanariah Abdullah. She is the president of the Montessori Association of Malaysia, the director of Malaysia Child Resource Institute. She's also the founder and principal of Sri Kayangan Montessori School. Before this, she was trained as a lawyer from England, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so welcome Puan Aisha tonight.
Hello,
Very
good evening.
to have you on board tonight.
Thank you very much.
The second panelist tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is someone from the government Ministry of Education previously. All right. So tonight we are going to have a holistic view on this discussion. Puan Aisha from the private education industry and Mr. Teoh previously was from the Ministry of Education. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Mr. Teoh. He was professionally trained in early youth education, specializing in mathematics, highly skilled in ICT in education, educational technology and education television production. He's very proficient in school inspection, teachers evaluation and education planning. So some of the posts that Mr. Teoh has had held previously in the MOE was Inspectorate of School, Deputy Chief Inspector of Schools. He was also Education Technology Division Deputy Director. All right. And also he was the Principal Assistant Director from the Education Technology Division previously. So welcome, Mr. Teoh. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, and thank you for having me.
Well, we are honored that we are able to invite both of you on board here to share, your experience and your tips, in this on tonight's talk, the innovative approach to elevate your educational institution excellence. This is to enable our members, all right, on how to elevate their institution into excellence level. Okay, so we are really in treats tonight, right? So Mr. Puan Aisha, Mr. Teoh, all right. So let's have a casual chat on this, right? So Puan Aisha, so can I know first, what does innovation means to you?
Thank you, Mr. Chin. Okay, talking about innovation, this is something that we cannot ignore. It's got to do with one of the very important faculties of mankind. We're always wanting to improve, always wanting to change, do things better, faster, bigger, okay? And it's a natural thing. So it's something that we can't escape, and essentially, basically, we have to embrace it. So innovation has got to do with involving the skills of mankind in order for them to improve their situation, condition, etc. At the moment, everyone has defined it as the very famous 21st century thinking skills, as you know, critical thinking, collaborating, being creative, and all that. It's something that even if you didn't have a job, you could live. You would still want to be innovative because you want to do what you want to be able to. I mean, it's like a human tendency, a need which cannot be avoided. So if we know our children are going to be as innovative as possible, naturally, there's no point trying to go against the flow, and we should really consider it as something that they have free access to in their learning environment.
Wow, that's a very precise, great view of you, Puan Aisha, on innovation involves creativity. All right. So, okay, Mr. Teoh, how about you? What does innovation mean to you?
I think generally, what Puan Aisha mentioned, I think in very, very great detail. I will just summarize it in one simple sentence. What we meant by innovation is that innovation basically involves creativity, like what Mr. Chin mentioned just now. But at the end of the day, innovation must bring about greater efficiency, better outcome, and also probably when we say greater efficiency, it can be some job done faster. For example, your children acquiring 21st century learning skill, instead of having to go through the 12 years education before you can be considered innovative, or before we can consider you have mastered all the 21st century skills. If you can do it express to 7 years, then we consider that approach probably very innovative lah. But basically because you have done things in a more efficient manner and more effective manner. So at the end of the day, everybody is looking for results. I think certain countries, they have also moved into outcome-based. You know, in Australia, they have begin to give out contracts. They call it outcome-based contract. Instead of buying some services or ways you do things, I want to buy the outcome itself. How much would it cost me to have the outcome? Therefore, in this sense, innovation become a very crucial or critical factor for your children to be able to compete in the 21st century. I think maybe before we actually go into this area to discuss further about innovative approaches to elevate your education institution, probably if Puan Aisha can agree, we'll just mainly focus on 3 core areas that we're going to discuss, like pedagogical innovation. I think one area the private institution can really still improve and get good return of investment will be the innovative approach on outreaching to our parents. The engagement session, I feel that the private institution in Malaysia is not really doing sufficiently well in that particular area. And last but not least, I think innovative management approaches to reduce your overhead costs will be another one. It is a two-pronged factor. When you say you want to reduce overhead costs, it can be improve or increase your efficiency. That means less people doing more job, more work, getting more things done, or you shorten your time. Then it becomes more cost efficient or reducing your overhead. That will be classified under innovative management approaches. If Puan Aisha can agree to that, Puan Aisha.
Yes, I think so. We have to set a bit some structure for this discussion. If not, we'll be here all night. As you know, it's a very hot topic, and in the field of early childhood education, as you know, it's not about controlling the children so that they will be as innovative as possible. You try to control children, it's like trying to control a litter of kittens or a little pack of puppies. Have you tried to control them? So it's impossible. The thing you try to control, as you say, Mr. Teoh, are all those points you mentioned. We try and control the environment in order that the children will be able to regulate themselves. And that's the tangible thing that the parent wants to see. The children have, evolved to be such great engagers of the environment, and they become very learned, etc. So yeah, I would definitely agree. We need to, at least from a business point of view especially, we need to be able to identify what are the factors that we can be innovative about in order that we can engage with the stakeholder, the most important, the parents, of course.
Yes, Puan Aisha. Okay, so yes, the parents are the decision makers, right, for the children, especially those younger age children. All right, so it's important, as you said, that we must the entrepreneurs in Malaysia, right? They need to make the parents understand, right, what they can do for them, for their children, actually, especially not for the parents, but most importantly for the children, what they can bring out from the children, right? Their talents, their hidden talent, potential, all this thing, right? So this is very important. So I can see that tonight, Mr. Teoh, from his experience in the Ministry of Education, looks like he has lots of things to bring up here in regards to our title tonight. All right, so I'm looking forward to hear more. All right, so before that, ladies and gentlemen, all right, so if you have any questions, you are most welcome, to type in the FB Live, right? So we will and all our panelists and myself, we will try our best to attend to your question if possible. All right, so with that, all right, so Puan Aisha, can I know innovation in this 21st century? There are so many technology, right, in other areas, not only in education. Of course, innovation is very important in, we need to leverage on innovation technology in education, right? So may I know how can we integrate innovation into the field of education?
Thank you, Mr. Chin. So yes, this is something that, as I said earlier on, when we asked me what is meant by innovation, it's something that's all around, and we have to embrace it. So all the more so now, because our children of today, they are digital natives, as you know. That's not a foreign term anymore, and it's the parents and the grandparents who have to catch up. Okay, it's the other way around now. Okay, the younger ones are a little bit more learned, and it's automatic and natural, because it used to be a concrete jungle out there with growing development. No, but now it's a digital jungle out there. And we need to prepare our children in order to be prepared for that, for life. Because technology, sometimes if it's, as we all know, if we do not know the animal, then it'll be a problem. So in order to prepare our children for life of today's day and age, digital natives that they are, we need to speak the same language. Okay, speak the same language. We need to do things like taking coding lessons, and not just talking about the children. Sometimes they can be a hit. So how do we integrate it? It's a little bit like waking up first thing in the morning. What's the first thing you do? You pour some juice for your breakfast. Okay, and if you're about to go to school, then it involves certain steps to ensure safety, ensure security. So if the child has got their QR codes and got their everything that whatever the school is doing, and there's some amazing innovations out there, you know, face recognition, etc., and all that. And you want safety and security, and you want the child to feel safe and secure. And so that's how we have to, like, maybe under the subject of practical life, living skills. Okay, so children, for example, a simple thing is making sure that they have their school bags ready for the next day. The school bags have got the scan, the QR codes, little tags there, etc. So they are responsible. So that's just the basic thing. And that's something that you have to get involved the parents in, because sometimes parents are busy, or the children are with the grandparents, or there's a helper. And everybody has to know about this QR code tag on the child's school bag. Okay, so to integrate at a very simple level is just the practical part, and this is like maybe 0.1% of what else is there out there that we can use to how to integrate innovation in education for the child to be more efficient, as you say, safe, independent. Parents don't have to worry. Yeah? Parents look forward to great achievements by the children. That's just a basic introduction.
Okay. Thank you, Puan Aisha. You can see that, of course, QR code is very convenient now. This is one type of innovation. How about something, any practical things we can leverage on in terms of the AI, you know, for example, artificial intelligence. Can we leverage on this technology in bringing innovation into education in Malaysia, you know, and upgrade the level of excellence of education institution in Malaysia?
I will be the first to admit to Mr. Chin. I'm one of those who has to go for the lessons to catch up with all of this AI and all that. We have an idea of it, and then, you know, got to have to make the students feel that they're supported and that we're on the same page, you know. So we need to catch up, and that goes without denial. AI is something that we cannot ignore, right? And it's something that, and if it means that there will be learning amongst the children, by all means, we should do it. Okay, but I think I would like to give way to Mr. Teoh. Not I will steal his thunder. He's a great person with a lot of experience and being from the inspectorate, you know, a lot of observation, all that. I'm more on the practitioner part. So please, Mr. Teoh, why don't we continue with your views?
Yeah, I think basically what Puan Aisha meant just now was carrying out lots of automation in the school, in your institution, so that of course your processes become more efficient and so forth. But the basic fundamental of all this is that school management first must understand technology and where it's coming from, what it can do for you. So I believe PEAM is going to run some workshops for the members in the near future to really dissect each different type of technology available that is around us all the time, so that you don't waste time doing or reinventing the wheel. Things that are being done, you don't have to do it second time. One very obvious example is that the hawkers are doing it, but the education institutions are not doing, is every time you go to any shop, the first thing they will check my 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗩𝗔𝗧𝗘 whether you are doubly vaccinated or not. Then you are supposed to update your status in my 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗩 to the latest date before you are allowed entry into the shop. This one, the normal coffee shop, kedai makan, and so forth. But sad to say, in education institution, we want to do RTK tests, which is costly for us, and we cannot afford it. So instead of that, we just scan temperature, which is not an effective way of checking on children. Therefore, reduces parents' confidence level in allowing their child to go to school. So if we can understand technology that's around us, facilities that has been already provided by the government, we leverage on that alone, will be tremendous cost saving for the institution itself. So this is one of it. The other thing that we are looking at about innovation in education is that we have the tendency, it's not only the private institutions or government institutions. In fact, based on my participation in various international educational conventions, especially in the APEC countries, generally, instead of people going to use technology effectively or optimally, they have a tendency to computerize their system. That means they are doing, for example, teaching and learning. During the last 2 years, we can see a lot of teachers trying to innovate, not only in Malaysia, but in the world because of the current pandemic. Everybody trying to go online using video conference. That's why I think Zoom and Google Meet and Skype has suddenly become the in thing in the whole world. So having said all that, instead of changing our approach, our pedagogical approach in teaching, we are still doing what we are doing in the face-to-face classroom over the internet. We have actually not considered a very critical factor in children's learning. For example, if you are doing a face-to-face class, when the teacher is discussing with any one child in the class, everybody can listen to the conversation. This is the same as the video conference. The only significant difference is communication between the children. If they don't understand, they will nudge their friend beside and ask them, what is the teacher talking about? I think it should be this and that and so forth. That part of communication is missing in the online lesson. How do we change our pedagogical approach to encompasses or I say to compensate for the loss of communication between children? If we can innovate to do that, we are number one. I don't know, but that is my take of from experience of what I've seen. I followed my children's lesson online as well, and I've also seen several online lessons during the PTA meetings and all that. We have seen the schools, the teachers are trying their very, very best to do things as is over the internet environment. But unfortunately, these are the limitations of technology. I believe this is also one area all the members of PEAM should really sit together and really look at it, study the proper outcome that we want in our children, and then come together and build a more innovative pedagogical approach so that we can achieve the outcome that we want in a new way over the internet. Because it's whether you like it or not, nowadays, you see, I think Puan Aisha can agree with me, when you are in your school, the kindergarten, preschoolers, you hug them, you pat them on the back, and so forth. This is one of the building blocks of building child confidence. Unfortunately, during the current pandemic and in the near future, our new norms, this particular emotional build-up for touching is no more there. So how do we overcome this? Probably, I feel one of the areas that we're going to discuss later is about engaging parents. Parents should play a more important role because they know that they are not infected. They can pet their children, hug their children without any issue. You know, I think I'll pass it back to Mr. Chin and Puan Aisha. I don't want to monopolize the whole thing. I'm so patronizing.
Okay, so Mr. Teoh, so from what I got from you, PEAM, of course, we have a role to play on this, you know, to lead the entrepreneurs in Malaysia, right? To guide them, perhaps do some workshop to guide them on how to be innovative, to be more innovative in engaging with the parents, right? Okay, so so that to give a good outcome to the children, right, in their education. That is very important. So I noted on that, right? So of course, beside that, human touch is still very important, right? So even though we have a technology, right, you know, all this Zooming class, you know, online, it can never replace human touch. This is very important. Hope all these entrepreneurs, edupreneurs, you know, in Malaysia can take note of this. All right. So that's a very good point, Mr. Teoh, point Aisha as well. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So so the next question is that, all right, what opportunities and benefits are there in showcasing innovative education? Perhaps you can discuss this in these three areas in terms of pedagogical innovations, you know, and in terms of parents, clients engagement innovations, all right, and also management innovations. Yes, Puan Aisha.
Okay. You know, this is it's all words which we have to not necessarily play around with, but we need to work with. Innovation in education is obviously something that we cannot escape, as I said earlier on, and it's quite impressive in today's day and age. You know, it's so modern. We don't walk around with paper books anymore. We walk around with readers, tablets, Kindle, and all that. And then there's the printing, goes to 3D, to 4D, to 5D. You can now print a house. You don't have to build a house, you print a house, right? And of course, there's the virtual reality, the cloud storage, all that, the AI you mentioned about, and, you know, the mobility technology. And in the beginning, you know, I always thought that gamification is something that should be abhorred because it like dehumanizes people. But the more I learn about it, the more I understand it actually makes life easier. You know, as you say, more efficient, etc., etc. So we can't deny our children all of this. But as you mentioned, the human factor of it is very important. If we can innovate in such a way that it enhances human qualities and all that. I mean, what are we looking for in our children? We want our children to be as confident, as you say, you know, as possible. And right now with the pandemic, we can't really do that as much. If they can understand through communication and absorb more efficiently and process information so that they can be adaptable in their thinking, they can plan, they can you know, going to school, plan things themselves, and they are just ready for school. You know, they make themselves, they regulate themselves, they monitor themselves, control themselves, they use their working memory, they manage the time and organization. So all of these qualities, if we could innovate our educational system in such a way that the children will be able to enhance their already natural qualities that are already there, I think that will be just wonderful. And this is what the tangible parts of the school, each school needs to work on. And something like the PM Edu Awards that we are having like right now, as judges, we are made privy to this excellent system of judging that we have come across. We have a real learning curve for all of us. And the domains that have been strategically listed out for our business operators to be able to identify which areas it is that they can focus on in order for them to appear very innovative, that parents will be able to see results with their children. So pedagogy-wise, it can still be the same pedagogy. It's the delivery. And it's more challenging now because of pandemic and children stay at home. It's online. It's impossible. It's quite difficult to do things online with small children. I think you know that. And so how can we innovate things so that the children don't miss out? All right. And as you mentioned, parent-client, parent engagement, etc. is all very important, but they also need to work and carry on and all that. So the program that you have for the child and the family actually is something that has to work really well, and having in mind the objectives of your education system and all that. And so it definitely is something that you need to plan. Gone are the days that you can just open a center, open a kindergarten and say, okay, I've got the 3 books for math, for reading and for drawing and all that. Gone are those days. You got to be definitely way ahead of the game. And I think the more you're able to, I don't know which other word to use, the more that you're able to humanize all the processes, all the systems available in the learning environment, the teaching and learning environment, the more connection that the parents feel, the more connection that the children feel, and they can be calm and happy. Happiness is important. Okay, happiness is important so that they can learn. The more your system is able to do that, better things are. I wish I could give a straight answer to you, but as you know, education is not a mold that will fit everyone. Not a mold that everyone can fit into. Sometimes the mold is actually each individual child itself.
Okay, thank you, Puan Aisha. So, how about you, Mr. Teoh?
Actually, just now I just saw the questions coming out on the screen, but too short. I'm not finished reading it.
Okay, let me read out the question. It appeared again.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, this is from Mr. Tan. All right. So Mr. Tan asked, hi, Mr. Teoh, Tuan Teoh, as you have mentioned that to those education entrepreneurs who is able to use the technology will be the king in the future. So what role will be played by government, especially KPM, in assisting in private education service provided towards innovation?
Okay, I think it's a bit challenging for me. Number one, I'm no more with the government. I've retired actually from service. As far as I know, there's a special division called the Private Education Division looking into all this. And the government has invested tremendously into R&D, especially for now they're also focusing on preschool education. I believe recently, last 2 years, the government has come up with a set of standards, minimum standards, that will ensure quality preschool education is being delivered throughout the country. So one of the things, instead of reinventing the wheel, like I say, the facilities has already been provided by the government. What education entrepreneurs, especially those focusing in preschool, should focus on is get a set of the standards, see how well are you faring according to the standards. I believe the tools are there to assist you guys to identify areas that you can still, or there are areas which have room for improvement, so that your education institution can improve to meet the standards that is being required in Malaysia. That is number one. I think the other ministries, welfare ministry, they have this 𝗙𝗏𝗏 and all that. Maybe if you guys are really involved in that area, look it up in the net. Probably you can find some ministries that give some grants or whatever assistance they can give you. Recently, I think I saw some press release that they are giving some funds to private institutions as well to improve the education environment in their schools. Okay, getting back to the innovation just now, like Puan Aisha mentioned, of course, technology is there. It's ever changing. Things are always changing and so forth very fast. Therefore, I mean, to make it simple, as things changes, like new norms and all that, there must be sufficient change in our delivery approach, in our activities, in our delivering of curriculum to compensate for the change in the rules and regulation. Like when you cannot sit together, close-knitted, 5 people per group and have a discussion, then to compensate for children communication skills, then we should relook at how this can be done. I believe if you're doing the preschools, you always assist by guiding the children to write and draw and so forth to help them develop their psychomotor skills on a macro level, and on the micro level their writing skills. So with technology, what sort of activities can we do to make sure that the psychomotor skills are also developed? Trust me, I don't want to go into details, but there are specific tools in the game-based learning sort of approach that you can adopt. And this game-based approach, if your IT guys in your institution is really hardworking enough, there's a lot of freeware that has zero cost to you. Actually, you only need to look into it. I think PEAM will assist in that area in future during your workshop. Then you can have one session to look up innovative freewares that you can get from the net and assist and make your lesson more interesting. The bottom line, actually, for whatever innovation you intend to do and so forth, is that you have to make very, very sure that your innovation is actually focused on the targeted outcome you want. There's no point doing a lot of innovation that is not focused on your client. If you are running a daycare for or preschool, what do the parents expect their children to acquire after a year with you? So if you cannot achieve what the parent aspire, then of course we fail. And I'm very sure the parents will not send again the subsequent year. If you can achieve whatever the parents want and they feel that is actually, how do I say, value for money, your service that you have given value for money, I'm very sure they will help you promote and elevate your brand. In future, everybody will come rushing to your institution. This is very clear. I think if you look at some 10 years back, where the mission schools were the preferred schools. You remember like VI in KL, St. George in Penang, all these mission schools, they were the, how do I put it, preferred schools, and all parents want to send their children to these schools. Reason? Parents' confidence is there. Their engagement with parents is good. That's why now we are also building the national type schools so that to be able to compete equally as well. I think MCKK is doing very well. Tengku Kusha is also doing very well. So we should learn from all these approaches. Then I think the next topic we go into will be actually how we can innovatively engage the parent, which is very, very, very important. I think if you walk into any tadika in the taman, the smaller establishment, you just ask them basically, what can you do for us? They will say, okay, you can send your kid here until 12 o'clock, then you come and collect your kid. That's all they will tell you. So what am I paying for? That should be the question. So in your outreach or your branding part of it, you should really focus on probably my preschool. When you send your child here, now the first and foremost, after a year with us, they will be able to identify and match colors. Okay. Second thing is that I give you a guarantee that they will have developed the motor skills, eye-hand coordination to an extent that they are able to do tasks like connect building blocks accurately within a time frame or what. Something similar. I'm so sorry. Actually, I'm not an expert in preschool education, but this is what I observe that if you can give tangible outcomes to parents in your engagement, and at the end of the session, the parents can see the children getting the tangible outcome that you have pledged, they'll be very happy that they have paid for the children acquiring the tangible skills. That is the bottom line. Okay.
I have to say there, Mr. Teoh, you don't have to worry, being like an inspectorate and you think you don't have the academic or experience. I kid you not, and I beg to differ. I think you are a very vital part of the system. And basically, what you have said just now, I've been in this for over 20 years. And in the olden days, parents did used to come to the schools, without the smartphones in those days, and they'll come with various brochures and then come to one school and say, okay, this is what I can get in this school, and this is what I can get in another school. For whatever X amount of ringgit, you can have this class, this class, this class, this lesson, and they would compare, and then they would then ask the operator, what does your school have that's so special? And for what ringgit? That's how parents used to do it because they didn't know any better, right? Now, I feel the role has reversed completely now. And that's exactly what, as you pointed out, Mr. Teoh, what tangible outcomes can the parents take away, and more the children can take away that the parents can observe. And, like, for example, you see a child who's very timid and shy, okay? And if you do not have something to cater to help the child build confidence, a program, I don't know, it's a self-confidence program, a virtues program, etc., and if you don't have that to cater for that one child, and then you haven't won the parents over at all. I feel the roles have reversed, and instead, before, the school owner would interview the parents to see what do they want and how are they and their background. And I think it's the other way around. It's the parents who are interviewing the operators to ask, what difference will it happen? What differences will take place in 1 or 2 years if I were to put my child in your school? Do you have this? Do you have that? Can you help them overcome shyness and to survive, etc., etc.? So you're not far wrong. There is something at the end of the day parents really want to see. And once all of that has happened and the children, as I said to you, are content and calm and confident, any amount of learning can take place. Then there's the next step. When the child is happy, family is happy, that's the next step is what other innovative things that you can have. That comes with your branding, your program, a rocket school, solar system school, the name, that only that matters. That's in my experience.
I think the other portion that tremendously need innovation is actually fun learning. Most of the time, we are so overemphasizing on fun. It's a lot of fun, no learning. Children very happy, a lot of fun, no learning. But as educationists, we must ensure fun learning happens. A certain amount of fun is not a prerequisite, but learning must happen as well. So your degree of innovativeness to be able to incorporate activities for those very tactile children. If you know about the learning modality, some children are very tactile, but majority of them are very audio. Some of them are very visual. So for very tactile students, you must have a very interesting, how do I put it, activities that allows them to be doing things in a fun way. At the same time, they acquire the skills. These are the things that the parents are actually looking for when they go to any institution. If I go to unfortunately, I got no more little ones to go to any institution. But if you go to an institution, the first thing you want to see is that is the environment very friendly to the child? Is the environment creating a very fun scenario for the child to learn? But if you can create a very fun way of the children spend 2 hours playing and enjoying themselves, but not learn anything, the parents are still very reluctant to send. So the operator must be able to articulate how does this fun game activities be converted into learning in their children. If you can do that explicitly well, you are number one, all the parents will come. Okay, I pass it over back to you, Mr. Chin.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Puan Aisha, Mr. Teoh. So I gotten from this is that the children, they have a different learning senses, right? Some of them are auditory, some of them are, kinesthetic, some of them are visual. So the institution, I believe, should also identify the learning senses of the children first. All right. So and also that I also gotten that seems that there need to be more communication between Ministry of Education and the private education entrepreneurs in Malaysia. So with this, hope that PEEAM we will definitely play an important role in this, to voice up what the issues, and as a bridge between the Ministry of Education and also the private entrepreneurs in Malaysia. All right. So yeah, that's a good point raised, Mr. Teoh and also Puan Aisha. All right. So and with this, okay. So can I know what are the focus of innovation that would be appealing to the education entrepreneurs targeted clients?
Mr. Teoh, would you like to go ahead first for a change?
Okay. Okay. Let's take it very, very simple.
Yes.
If you are running a daycare, then your targeted client will be age group from 1 to probably 2, 3 years old. Okay. If from 1 to 3 years old, I don't believe parents want their child to come and sit in for math class, English class, and so forth. They want their children to be, number one, well trained in the scheduling, what time they take their meals, when they take their meals they finish, and all that. So your innovation should be focusing on how to work the child into a routine. Then probably the parents will want to buy your package. So when you're then that's why I says you need to be very sure which targeted group and so forth. Second thing is that when, let's say, you're doing preschool, if you are running it in a predominantly Muslim area, the targeted parents all Muslim. Of course, number one, you put in your religious punya cerita lah, like for how the mini ones lah, not the actual ones, because it's still not there yet. But if you can incorporate some Islamic values in how you greet and so forth, parents will buy. If you're going to a predominantly Chinese area and you try to innovate and put Islamic value in, then nobody will come lah. So all these things, you first must know your client. What do they actually want? But this is not all drawn through racial line. Social economic does play a tremendously important part. If you are running in high-end preschool for children from the higher socio-economic group, then probably you should introduce more technology, how to control, how not to get addictive, and so forth. All this routine built in, the parents will be more than willing to pay. Because when they see their children every day stuck to the iPhone, the eyes never leave the phone, always playing games and so forth. So you have to first know your client, know your targeted client, then focus on the innovation. The innovation is very simple thing only. The client wants to break the how do I put it, addictive habit to devices. So how do we come up with programs to bring them away so that it's not so addictive?
Yes, I couldn't agree more, Mr. Teoh. The only challenge to the entrepreneur is which one how to do it, and which area of innovation, because there's so much, right? And then of course now there is the talk of inclusiveness for all walks of life, as you were saying, from the higher end economy. Then also you have children with special needs and all that, right? So if you try to do everything under one roof, will it work? So if you, yeah, exactly, you know, so I've seen it with my own eyes. I've been, you know, I'm a consultant as well. I've been asked advice that they try to do many things under one brand. Again, I say, which one do you want to do? Do you want to do about, you know, about sensory, forest school? Which one? Okay, they want to do everything. Maybe one way to go about is maybe to just open different branches and say, okay, this one is for forest school, this one is for more academic, this is more whatever it is, you know, for special needs, and then you can have your monthly get together or monthly event, right, to integrate everyone. But from what I find is, if you have a niche, as you mentioned, and you are able to offer something that the parents can see, and the children go through so much improvement, most definitely. Especially areas where, like we were talking about just now, the curriculum has got to fit the child. If the child can't sit still, then you cannot put a curriculum that requires them to sit still. Like as I mentioned, I mean, everybody knows about the fishes being taught how to climb a tree. It just is not going to work. Right, so you might as well go with the flow and do as much as you can. And of course, there are some children who are thriving on a lot of activity, a lot of challenges. Then you have a program for that, most definitely. It's just that for me, I find that the challenge for the entrepreneur would be, which one would I want to focus on to innovate? Yes.
The thing is that, Aisha, I feel the quantity surveyor before you start your business for that particular area has to do their job. So you have to know which will get you the biggest market share, and then based on that you target the group. It doesn't make sense to try to target everybody because as far as we all know, there's no one medicine fits all, where everybody is happy with your outcome itself. So you have to decide what sort of clientele you want, how your business model is going to be run. Let's say for preschool still quite possible in the sense I can do technology corner, and then I can do literature corner where it's more on literature or arts and so forth. So you still can run your activities that way. And children is, let's say, it's free for all. You come today, you decide, you feel that you want to sing song and you want to do music, then you have the music corner. The music teacher will handle you. You know, that sort of environment. I think I've seen this environment in the States. The Apple Distinguished School, if I'm not mistaken, they had something like that. But this, of course, is very resource intensive, and very, very heavy. So for entrepreneur, if you're running a small business, it might be quite. If you're a big establishment, your annual turnover 5 million to 10 million, no problem. I don't think that's a problem at all. Does it answer your question, Mr. Chin?
Yes, Mr. Teoh. So and Puan, Aisha. So entrepreneurs, we have to target, we have to be specialized on what type of client we want, right? So and we cannot do everything, yes, unless we have very huge resources, right? So so entrepreneurs must take note on this, right? All our members tonight who are here, right?
Mr. Chin, I want to interrupt you. I want to interrupt you here. This is generally it would be advisable to focus on certain groups and so forth. Nevertheless, if the entrepreneurs can come up with an innovative way to cater for the whole society, that will be fantastic. Actually, we also want to learn. But the thing is that you can do it two ways. One is short term. If I have a long term, let's say I do it over a period of 10 years, I can slowly incorporate additional programs to make my preschool program more inclusive and more comprehensive. Like what the government is. You see, the government we do, what the government does is that they start with preschool, okay? And then it becomes more and more comprehensive and more inclusive. Then now we can say even our preschool can take special needs children as well. Where previously, 10 years ago, you say special needs, they tell you, no, we can't handle because we got not enough people and so forth. So is something what we call a strategic plan. If your institution has a good strategic plan, let's say a 5-year plan or 10-year plan, then you can slowly incorporate the various element in as well. Don't get me wrong, Mr. Chin. Nanti everybody scolds me and says ini orang kata tak boleh. If they are innovative, they can. I'm very sure we are all for it.
Yeah, I fully support you there, Mr. Teoh. Gone are the days where you have to be competitive and hide all the features of your school, okay? And then you worry about staff spying, possible spying from other schools, etc. Now it's the other way around. You have to tell parents what their child will be able to do. And you can even say how to do it, the strategies of how to do it, and you encourage the parents as they're the partners with the school to do at home, how to maintain the child being able to be confident. If the child can do things at school, he can also do it at home. The support system has to be there. So, I think all the more if you can tell what's the best way of doing it, most efficient. Grandparents also have to be in the game. Okay, grandparents have to be less endearing to their children, their grandchildren, who have learned how to put on their shoes together, learn how to choose which clothes to wear. All right, and the grandparents have to restrain, or parents or aunties and uncles restrain themselves and just observe and watch. So all these strategies that you share with the family, and they understand that we're doing it for the benefit of the child, so that the child can learn him or herself. That's the best. Instead of doing the old school, what we always do, let's do it for you. So we rob the children of the opportunity to learn. I will put your shoes on for you, don't worry. Okay, I will find your other sock, don't worry. So, it's now the other way around. And I hope our edupreneurs will be able to translate that into very enticing literature and programs that involve the parents, the community, that will make them decide this is a school that they want for their grandchild, for their child, and nephew, niece, and so on and so forth. Don't forget, it's a whole family thing. Okay, sometimes even neighbors will come and inquire about the school. I'm asking for my neighbor because she or he is very busy, and I pity her, and I see her child is active, and so that sort of thing. So you need to be able to sell to everybody. And as you say, Mr. Teoh, if we can cover everyone, wonderful. We would love to learn how to do it.
So with that, I believe that there are many opportunities still available here for Malaysian edupreneurs to be more innovative in this. Hopefully with the guidelines from the Ministry of Education and also with the cooperation from PEEAM, we can bring out the best from the out of the entrepreneurs here to help to bring elevate our Malaysian educational institution towards excellence level. All right. So actually, we have a lot of questions to ask actually to our two panelists, to you, Puan Aisha and Mr. Teoh. But however, because of time constraint, because we are limited to 1 hour only tonight, so now it's already 9:28. All right. So is there anything you want to add, Puan Aisha, in summary, and Mr. Teoh? Perhaps you can say a few things to our edupreneurs.
Yeah, because essentially the message is that don't give up. Don't give up. Our children are there. They're our legacy, and that we are counting on them to be able to improve themselves, improve society. So please don't give up and do the best. It's like it's almost like we are doing a service, a community service. Even though you are a private school or center, and then you're taking in fees, you're still nevertheless doing a service for the community, for families, and so on and so forth. Don't give up. Find whatever way it takes to help the children be the best that they can be. That's my message.
Okay, Mr. Teoh.
Okay, I think one basic thing is that for entrepreneurs, generally, when we say you have to do some innovation and all that, first question comes to mind is, oh my God, I need to do investment again. So please look at this in a different perspective. Innovation that brings about more efficiency and better outcome in a reduced time frame will actually reduce your overhead costs, therefore not investment, but improve your profit margin. That's number one. And secondly, when we talk about innovation, that although needs investment, consider that a pre-sales investment that will bring you better, bigger clientele, a bigger market share, and generate more profit. So if you are taking these two basic principles as the guideline for your innovation, I believe you cannot go wrong and you'll be a successful business person. Unfortunately, I'm not lah. I retired.
We never know. Do you know that Colonel Sanders, right? Sorry, of Colonel Sanders, right? He started KFC at the age of 65. All right. So, well, that's a very good points. We gotten from Puan Aisha and also Mr. Teoh tonight. I believe our entrepreneurs, our stakeholders in education in Malaysia, and also the parents, teachers, has gotten and learned a lot from our two esteemed panelists. All right. We, on behalf of PEAM, we express our gratitude for your presence tonight and maybe your sharing. All right. So I believe time is limited for this forum. And will you be agreeable that there need to be a formal workshop to discuss further on this, right, Mr. Teoh and Aisha? Yeah, so that yes, that will be good. Yeah, so this one PEAM have to take note on that. All right. So, and ladies and gentlemen, so tonight our forum one, all right, is ending. All right. So, however, please stay tuned for next Monday. All right. So we have another forum. Actually, we have a plan altogether so far, 3 forum. So next Monday, the title will be How Virtual Learning Can Be Creative and Effective for Children. All right. So we have another 3 panelists actually. All right. For next coming Monday, it will be moderated by our committee member Tuan Noor Aminah. All right. So with that, thank you, Mr. Teoh and Puan Aisha, for your sharing tonight. All right. All right. So with that, all right. So ladies and gentlemen, so I believe we will say good night for now. All right. Until. All right. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
The objective of the 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗩𝗪 Award is actually to promote educational entrepreneurship, to define and establish an operating quality benchmark while securing a consistent
but fair grading system
for the private education sector within Malaysia.
To connect entrepreneurs with reliable,
promote a collaborative environment between various global education institutions,
Malaysian education, with the aim to bring Malaysian
educations to the forefront of the world.
At the same time, PM would like to organize corporate visit programs
for knowledge exchange and networking
for the benefit of all its members.
Despite living through a pandemic
that has not been seen in generations,
The 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗩𝗪 Awards
shines brightly for all
entrepreneurs to aspire to.
Why?
We all need something worth fighting for.
The PM Edu Awards is that prize.
We have seen a boost in the confidence of our stakeholders after YBhg has received the 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗩𝗪𝗪 Awards in 2019.
After receiving the 𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 Awards in 2019, 𝗔𝗍𝗪𝗪 has enjoyed enhanced awareness and elevated brand name.
After receiving the 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗩𝗪𝗪 Awards in 2019, we can communicate and approach the community as well as our targeted customer in a more confident manner.
This award is the coveted education award as this is the most credible private education awards in Malaysia.
He has created significant values for my institution.
It has been a year of trials and tribulations, pushing entire populations to adapt to a new world. Join the 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗩𝗪𝗔𝗧𝗘 2021 now in recognition of the honor you deserve.